Hey everybody out there, welcome to my garage. This is Garage Math. My name is Mark Henriksen. Garage Math with Mr. H. If you're wondering what I'm doing, holding this Rival Nerf XVI 1200. Ooh, sounds lethal. I and the wife and the boys just went through their bedroom and we cleared out all their Nerf guns. We had this whole pegboard. Probably have like 50 of these, and it used to be quite a thing. Our house used to be a war zone. It still is, teenagers. But I've been instructed to get rid of all of these, and I really don't know what to do with them. So what do? You stick them in the garage. So I don't know, maybe I'll take them down to the police station. I guess that's what you do when you have guns that you don't know what to do with. But anyways, I have been having a good time in here. There's bazookas, there's machine guns, there's 6-shooters. That's loud. I don't know if kids don't play with these. I was always afraid that they were going to go blind or have a kid go blind, but nobody ever did. So anyways, all right, enough about that. Okay, let's talk about math. Today, we're going to talk about percents and decimals. What I like about this lesson is that it's math that you will use in your real life. I know as math teachers, we throw a lot of stuff at you. A squared plus b squared equals I don't care squared. But today is something that you're going to always use. I use percents a lot for sports. You can use it for business. It's used to compare things. It's how do you know if you're better than somebody else? You can give a percent. So I'm going to use some of those examples. And we're going to go percents to decimals, decimals to percents. The next lesson is going to be the circle of math, where we are going to add fractions. And that's a whole lot of fun. Okay, so let's get started. When it comes to percents and decimals, a percent is a number out of 100. Okay, so cent, if you think about it, a centipede, a century, it's 100. So it's a number out of 100. So if somebody says, I make 80% of my shots, it just means if they took 100, they would make 80. They don't have to take 100 though to get a percent. We'll talk a little bit about that. Okay, so it's numbers out of 100. So let's say, for example, there happens to be a basketball player named Steph Curry. Buckets. I think his free throw percentage hovers around 90% for his career. I think sometimes he's a tick higher, maybe a tick lower. I think this year he's actually higher than that right now. He's currently not playing because he's got a boo-boo, but I think he's coming back. Okay, so if he shoots 90%, that means if he takes 100 free throws, he makes 90. 90 out of 100, it's a percent. You can also use this number if you don't want to use a calculator, and if the numbers actually are pretty user-friendly, which in this case they are. Say he shoots 50 free throws and you have to predict how many free throws will he make if he's a 90% free throw shooter. Well, 50 is half of 100, so 45 is half of, had to move the cat food. 45 is half of 90. So 45 out of 50, you're like, well, you made way less, but you shot less. It's the same percent. And you can do that. You can double it, triple it. You can multiply this by the same or divide this by the same, and it would work. Okay, now, currently, we do have some college applications going. 4%, my sons like to tell me the acceptance rate for the current college they're going for. Just trying to justify when they don't get in, or whatever. If they do get in, cool. Let's say, for example, they're trying to get into a real prestigious college, Chico State, go Wildcats. And it's only a 4% acceptance rate. I tried to tell that to my kid, but he corrected me. I think it's like 90%, but it's still really difficult to get into and to succeed at Chico State. Only really smart people go there. Okay, so if you have a 4% acceptance rate, 4% out of 100, that means for every 100 kids who applies, only 4 get in, 4 out of the 100. Okay, now let's say then you have 700 kids who apply. How many kids out of that 700? Again, how are you going to get from 100 to 700? You're going to multiply by 7. Multiply by 7, okay? So 28 kids out of 700. And if we had a calculator, 4 divided by 100, and 28 divided by 700 would come out to the same number. Okay, cool. All right, let's look at this one. 23.4%. Let's imagine that I am a 23.4% free throw shooter. I'm higher than that. I've only lost one free throw contest ever when I do this live at school. It's when I shoot 10 and the kids shoot 10. I think it's Thomas. Thomas Anderson's the only kid who ever beat me. Shame on you, Thomas. Okay, maybe I shouldn't use his name in this video. Anyways, it's an imaginary kid named Thomas Henderson. All right, 23.4%. Well, we threw a decimal in here. Whoa, let's freak out. Don't freak out. It's always out of 100. So 23.4%, 23.4 out of 100. No big deal. And let's say that a 23.4% free throw shooter takes 200. You multiply this by 2. You multiply that by 2. Ooh, let's see if I can do that in my head. 46.8 shots out of 200. And I know you're going to go, you can't make 0.4 of a free throw, but we're talking about averages and things of that sort, okay? 46.8, right. Okay, here we go. All right, that's a little percent knowledge. Now, we're going to do a page of decimals to percents, and then we're going to do a page of percents to decimals, and the next video will be fractions. All right, here we go. So, again, when you go to the world of decimals, in case you forgot, that's the tenth and that's the hundredth. So it's like the second digit to the right of the decimal, right? It's not the one. I always thought that was the oneths, right? Because we learned ones, tens, hundreds, but it's the tenth and the hundredth. So since that's the hundredth spot, what's the number? It's 25 over 100. All percents are over 100. It's 25. Okay, now this one's a little tricky because we have to get to the tenth as a spot, but right now that's the the hundredths as a spot. Okay, you got to say the otherwise it sounds like hundreds. So what you have to do is, if you don't have a number there, you have to put a number there because you got to have two numbers. Okay, so 40, and this is the hundredth spot. 40 over 100. Which is 40%, okay? And I think some of you are already looking down here going, why are you doing the whoop thing? I am. All right, now another one, for example, this reminds me when I used to get in trouble one year. I got benched in basketball because we had this really annoying coach, and he'd yell, Hendrickson, give 110%, or he would tell the team to give 110%. And I don't know, maybe I liked math, or maybe I was sort of ornery, and I finally raised my hand and I said, Coach, it's impossible to give more than 100% because that's everything. 100% is all you have. And he said, Henderson, that's great. You're playing left bench today. I said, thanks, Coach. All right, so again, we had to go tens, hundreds, so you have to put this whole thing over here. So it's 110. 110, so that is a Coach, 110%. And then just to finish that story, I said, hey, Coach, I'm tired of playing left bench because I had sat there for like weeks. And he said, I got a new position for you. And I took off my warm-up outfit, and he said, how about right bench? And I put my warm-ups back on. All right, now let's get to the fun part. Whoop, to the right, to the right, to the right, to the right. Okay, so when you had a decimal, as you're going to notice here, because we always have to go to the hundredth, you're really multiplying by 100. Don't think too hard. All you have to do is whoop, whoop, and now the decimal's here. Okay, so what number is this? That number is 36%. So whoop to the right, whoop to the right twice. Okay, you have a decimal, you whoop to the right, 42.5%. Okay? Now, a couple little curveballs, but all you got to do is think of the rules. To the right, to the right. Now, how many times? 2 times. Whoop, 2 times. Okay? 1, 2. Now, there's no number here. No worries. Okay? You put a 0 in. That's a big percent. Okay? So it's 1,360%. So you don't have to think about it too much. Just do your whooping and live life happily ever after. Okay? Again, 1.007. Okay? 1, 2, whoop to the right, 100.7%. Now, this one and that one looks a little weird, but you're going to understand if you say, hey, what percent is 1? Well, if they don't have a decimal, you have to put the decimal. So if you just have the number 1, where would you put a decimal? Well, you would put it right there, because that's, if you put it on this side, it'd be 0.1, which is not 1. Again, just do the rules. Whoop, 2 to the right. 1, 2, okay? And for these little areas where there's nothing, you just put zeros. 100% is 1. Try 20, okay? What percent is 20? I want you, before I do this, hit pause, put your decimal here, whoop to the right, and then what do you have left, okay? 1, 2, put a decimal here. Bang, bang, 2,000%, okay? Okay, so again, when you go decimals to percent, to the right, twice. Cool, I wonder what we're gonna do if we're gonna go from percent to decimal. To the left, okay. To the left, to the left, to the left. Cupid shuffle, anybody? Okay, here we go. Percentage to decimals. I think we're starting to see a pattern. We did the other way, this way, now we're gonna go that way. It's just the opposite, okay? 87%, I'm gonna kind of use a little mathy, sort of, and then we'll do some fun whooping down at the bottom. All right, all percents are out of 100. So if it's 87%, 87% is out of 100, that means 87, okay? I got an 87% on my math test. That means out of 100, I got 87 points correct. Now, if you think about math, what is the 100th spot? The 100th spot is the second decimal. So that would be 0.87. This is 87 hundredths, okay? Because that's the last place value, hundredths. Okay, 9%. This is the one that gets confused the most by most people, okay? Because we get 0.90 or 0.09. So you just gotta think and do the whooping correct. But we're not there yet. All percents out of 100. All percents are out of 100. So the number 1 wrong answer for this, on the count of 3, let's all yell it out. 1, 2, 0.9. We just do. Why did you do it? I don't know. I'm sure I did it when I was a kid. People just do it, okay? But it's 9 hundredths, okay? So you have to put it here. If you put it here, that's tenths. That would be 9 tenths. So it's a pretty simple mistake to make. You may make it, and if you do, you'll probably just make it once. All right, let's have some fun. Beyonce. Beyonce? To the left. I think so. All right, now we're gonna go the opposite way. So when we go percent to decimal, so first thing you're gonna do is you're just gonna take these, and you always just put, well, that one has a decimal. If it doesn't have a decimal, you just put it in there as if, that says 124, well, where would the decimal be? It would be after the 4, right? Anywhere else, it wouldn't be 124, okay? So at 40, right, because a lot of people may want to put 0.4, but you're not, because how many times are we going to whoop? Whoop, there it is. The decimal is there. Now, always put a little 0 to the left of the decimal if there isn't any number to that side, because it just looks balanced. And you can put a 0, but you don't need to put a 0 there because those zeros on that side don't mean anything anymore, okay? All right, let's do this one. Again, we can think 12.5 over 100 and then try to, like, that makes my head kind of hurt. So here's what we're gonna do. 1, 2, 0.125, okay? That is 12.5%, because if we went back that way, whoop, we have the same answer. Okay, 100, ready? Bang, 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 bang. Wait a second, this isn't that difficult. No, it's not. Okay,